Welcome to Ability Assistance. My name is Phyllis Jones, and I am the chair of the North Andover Commission on Ability Assistance.
My name is Stacy Leibowitz, and I am the Commission Secretary.
We are joined today behind the camera by Carly Jones from Greater Lawrence Technical School, Joshua Robles, a graduate of Greater Lawrence Tech and current student at Northern Essex Community College, James Hill, graduate of the University of Vermont and an intern here at North Andover CAM. Our director from North Andover CAM is Susan Martin. And our guest this month is Robin Putnam, Research and Special Projects Manager from the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Welcome, Robin.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Let's start out with, what is the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation?
Sure. So the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation is a state agency. We're located in downtown Boston. And we have 5 agencies that are underneath our office. We have the Division of Banks, the Division of Insurance, Professional Licensure, Telecommunications and Cable, and Standards. We have a consumer hotline that's run Monday through Friday, and we hear from consumers every week, between 300 and 500 calls every single week. I think at the end of our episode, they will put our hotline number up for everybody to see.
Yes,
absolutely.
I think it's important to know who to turn to if you need to ask questions of your government, and you will actually get a human being that will answer the phone.
No robocall.
No robocalls. If you leave us a message and it's after hours, we will call you back. It's important to know that we are never going to call you out of the blue. But if you leave us a message, we will call you back. We also take complaints against contractors. We run the Home Improvement Contractor Program. So if you're going to do any work in your own home that's over $1,000, your contractor needs to be registered by law through our office. It's not a license, it's just a registration. And it just keeps track of who's doing the good business in Massachusetts. So we have a complaint program and an arbitration program and a guarantee fund. So if you're ever having an issue with a contractor, please let us know. But if you're going to hire someone, you can go online or you can call us, and we can make sure that whoever you're thinking about working with is actually registered. So
That's incredible.
Because so many people are like, do you, they'll put it out there like on, here we have North Andover Moms is very active.
Of course.
And they'll put, I'm thinking of hiring Joe Smith, window installer, and we can find out if anybody knows, but we can call you to find out statewide.
Exactly.
And can you also find out then if complaints have been registered against them? Because I know I've heard in the news over the past year or so, for example, there was one company where, there are a ton of lawsuits, and they've been sort of regenerating themselves and then going back out, and maybe somebody doesn't realize what's going on, that they hire somebody and they're not going to complete the job. So having that resource is really critical.
Most definitely.
It's critical for anybody, no matter who you are, if you're going to do work. And it's important to know, I think, $1,000, that's putting on siding, that's putting on a ramp, that's fixing your deck. It's going to be over $1,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Contracting work is not inexpensive. So it's just important to check, make sure that they have the licensing.
Exactly.
If you're going to bring anybody into your home, a plumber, an electrician, a new doctor, make sure that they have their license to work in Massachusetts. And so you can call us, or you can just go online and check that. And
That's great.
I'd rather give people the information beforehand, as opposed to 3 months later, I get the call going, oh my gosh, my contractor took the roof off and now he's left the country.
Right.
So I think it's really important to get the information out.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Now, you are the Research and Special Projects Manager. That's a huge title. What do you do?
So part of my job, which was an initiative for the governor when he first got into office, was to get somebody out into the communities to give information so people know where to turn to. So I am out in the communities, 30 to 40 times a month, visiting all kinds of groups. And I love it because it's so much more interesting to talk to people as opposed to sitting behind a desk. So I do a lot of research. So if there's a new scam that our office has heard about, I'll do some research and see what's going on with that. And it just, it keeps me quite busy, and I love doing it. And I think it's it's an interesting job. It's very sort of kind of different from most people. They say, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I talk to people for a living," but I love it. It's just you get to see and talk to people and hear what their concerns are, and if I hear something that is not going on that doesn't make sense, I can make some phone calls on your behalf and say, let's figure out how to fix this problem. I mean, I can't solve everything.
And I'll give you a plug for your boss. You contacted me.
I did. So yes. So we have a new undersecretary. His name is, Edward Pileski, and he said, just get out, keep going, to talk to all these groups. And I sent out, 500 mailers and emails and contacted lots of groups. And it's truly amazing how many people want information.
Yes.
And I love it. It's job security, I guess. But it's nice to come out. I don't mind working on a Saturday. It's wonderful to come out and say, hey, let's get information to a different community. Maybe they haven't heard about this. Maybe I'll hear about a new scam or some kind of fraud going on here. And if it hasn't gotten to Western Mass, I'll send a quick email to say some Council on Aging directors and say, just so you know, this is going on in North Andover. It may not be in your neck of the woods, but it may be.
Right.
So
or yet.
it's coming.
Yeah.
So it keeps me very busy.
And one of the good things, thank you again for joining us, is the fact that by doing it on a program like this, once we air it, it also goes on YouTube.
Exactly.
We roll it out as a podcast, which I'll give more information about.
Absolutely.
But you then have it so that if a community says, yeah, we're not really big enough to have you come out and waste your time, not that it's a waste of time, but you can say, well, you know what? There's a YouTube, there's a podcast.
Truly.
And so, it gives people at least another ability, and it helps you with your reach.
Sure. We're also we're working with another group who's going to put some of this. A lot of our brochures, it's expensive to print brochures, and it's also expensive to try to figure out how to get them online, and because people have asked. So there's a group that actually, a blind community group that they said, well, we'll put it all on audio for you. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Amazing.
And I said, well, I don't know what's the cost. And he said, no, we're going to do it for free because you're going to come and talk to our group. I said, if you can put these little snippets of information as an audio file, that's fantastic. That's huge. It's just hitting another group that maybe they can't come to a meeting, maybe they can't see, and it's wonderful. If we all work together, we can get the information out.
Yeah,
to keep everybody safer.
And everybody listens to podcasts.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there are multiple platforms.
Yes,
to be able to reach audiences. And I guess it's a good segue because you talked about scams. Addressing phone scams. There are all kinds of different scams that are out there. So talking about robocalls, which have become an increasing problem. Not just robocalls, but even calls from people. Like there's a whole thing going on with Social Security right now. Oh, your Social Security numbers. It happened to me. I got a call, and I just ignored it. It was a robocall, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. But not everybody's going to understand that. They're going to feel, if you have an older population or somebody with a disability, they may not understand and feel like, oh my goodness, I need to do something. So what is your feedback on addressing those types of things especially for compromised populations and their families? What do you do when that happens?
It's important to know that the Federal Communications Commission is working very hard on trying to stop this. There is a new program that's being rolled out in the last couple of months. It's called Shaken and Stir, because the engineers who designed it were big fans of Sean Connery, and I guess he liked his martinis shaken and stirred. So whatever
it's
works.
Easy to remember.
Basically. So what it does is it authenticates caller A before it gets to caller B. So they've rolled it out the bigger networks, Verizon, AT&T, they've really signed on, and they have noticed a downtick in the robocalls. The important thing I think to know is if you don't recognize the phone number, 110% don't answer the phone. And the problem is we're all curious. Why am I calling myself? Oh, it's the North Andover Police Department. Maybe I should pick it up. If you don't know the chief of police, and I'm not knocking the police department, why are they calling you? There's no reason for them to call you. Or the IRS or our office, someone has spoofed our number.
The government is never going to call you. The IRS is never going to call you about your taxes. The police are never going to call you to say there's a warrant out for your arrest.
No, they're probably just
gonna
going to
just
show
show
up
up.
at your door. And that's the hard thing is when you are dealing with any population, especially if maybe you're new to this country or English is not your first language. I gave a lecture to a group and all Spanish speakers, so we had a translator, and 3 of the women in that group had all received the same call that they owed, I don't know, $10,000 in back taxes.
Yep.
The IRS was really upset with them, starting to swear at them, and then they said, well, we're going to send the National Guard to get you and deport you.
That's
And because they're new, they don't know
And they
how
hit
our
all
government
those-
works.
Yeah,
They
they
hit all
believe it.
those
Exactly.
tender points.
And who wouldn't be scared I'm going to get
Yes.
deported? And it was really interesting for that group because 3 women they all got the same call within like the last couple of days. And I had to say, look, even if you owe that much money in back taxes, National Guard can't come get you. That's not their job, and they're not going to deport you. That those 2 things don't have anything to do with one another.
Right.
Deportation, different story.
Yep.
That's different agency.
And to get to the point of, for people who don't understand how government works,
Right.
the only one who can deploy the National Guard is the governor.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure he's not
gonna
using
get
that
to
that
today
for this
Yeah.
for
purpose,
you.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, if you do those types of tax, if you do have that type of tax issue, you're going to be contacted directly by the IRS.
Yes.
And they're going to do it in writing. They're not going to call you up.
Exactly.
And then if there is, I'm not saying there would be, but if there is an issue of deportation,
That's a
you're going to be
total different
contacted
issue.
by
Totally different
Immigration
issue.
and Nationalization Service.
Those
Exactly.
are different departments,
Yeah,
different
right.
issue.
And
yeah.
for them to commingle together.
Exactly.
It
not
just,
happen.
the problem is people don't understand so much how the government works.
Right.
So you throw all these big government-
words and deportation, and all of a sudden someone's really, they're frightened. They'll go to a store and get gift cards of $500 or $600. Like, well, maybe they'll take that. The government isn't going to take
No.
a Walmart gift card to
Right.
get you out of being deported.
No, the government
just
is
saying.
going
It doesn't work that way.
They're going to bring
Yeah.
you to court, and you have all those rights in terms
Right.
of right to counsel and right to interpreters, and and people need to understand that these people are not in any way, shape, or form
Right.
doing anything legal.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
So with the robocalls, the best thing to do, unfortunately, is simply don't answer the phone. If it's a dumb scammer and they leave you a message with a working phone number, and I say dumb because if they're leaving a working phone number, they can be found.
Yeah. Because usually they bounce off of somebody
Exactly.
else.
Or you call it back and this
And
number is out of
not
service.
Yeah, they'll change phone numbers frequently.
Exactly. But if they do leave you a message and they say, hi, this is Sarah. I'm calling from your bank. We noticed some discrepancies about you. Were you at Best Buy last night trying to buy a $2,000 TV? If you could call us back, we'd appreciate it. Now, if it really is your bank, I wouldn't call back the number that they leave you
Call
because
the main number.
just pull out your
Yeah.
debit card
Yeah.
and call the 800 number
That's on
on
the
the back of your card, and find whoever the entity may be, whether it's your credit card or your mortgage company or whatever the financial institution is. Find that 800 number and just simply call them, and they'll tell you one way or the other. It was us. We did notice some discrepancies. Let's go through everything. Or no, it wasn't us.
And a lot of times they'll also send you a letter. Like
Sure.
on one of my credit cards, I supposedly was in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Las Vegas at the same exact time. I refilled my gas. I bought something at Taco Bell and something at a Hallmark store, all at exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And when I got the letter, I'm like, yeah, even I don't trust this.
Right.
So unfortunately, you always have to have your guard up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think most everybody's been affected in some form. Another thing that you can do is to, I would imagine, go online and check your bank account
Absolutely.
to
Simply.
see if anything has been
Sure.
taken out that shouldn't have been, and also call your bank from
And
that
that's a
point.
good segue into computers.
Sure.
So we've got, people try, it's disgusting, 6 ways to Tuesday, try to figure out how to scam somebody. We've got spam emails, we've got whether or not it's a secure connection, antivirus software, just emails themselves. break it down. What would you suggest? Take, for example, spam emails. What would you suggest with that?
So if you get an email that looks somewhat fishy, trust your gut, trust your instinct. If you hover your mouse over the email address of the sender, the whole email address will pop up. A lot of times a scammer will italicize the company, the bank name, or the color, whatever the registered trademark colors are. I'll use Bank of America simply as an example.
Yep.
Not scammy. But their colors are red, white, and blue. And if you get an email from Bank of America and it's spelled Bank O America at gmail.uk, that should be a little bit of a red flag. I don't think they're using Gmail, and I definitely don't think they're located in the United Kingdom.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes the scammers are good, so if the email still looks good, but they're asking you to, could you just click here and verify? Could you click here and update your social security number? It's a very odd thing to say this, but your social security number is never going to change. There's a 0% chance that you'll ever get it changed. If you are that one person in the United States that gets it changed, it's still going to be attached to the new social security number. And furthermore, if you've opened up a bank account, your bank already knows what your social security number is. So it's just
They're not going to
they're
reach
not
out
going
and
to do
ask.
that. If they're not asking you to click here and verify or what have you, you can simply call your bank because they know when they've sent you an email. And you can say, look, I got this email. It looks a little fishy. Is there some information that you need from me? And they'll say, great, let's talk about, oh, it wasn't us. We didn't send you that email. Could you forward it to our fraud department?
Yes.
It's important when you get an email through, whether it's your tablet, a cell phone, a laptop, don't click on things because that's when you give them too much information. Oh, could you just update and verify?
Right.
Oh, now you've given them your social security number.
Yep.
They put malware on your phone, and now they're infiltrating you that way. There's a lot of phishing emails. I mean, it's amazing how many companies, big companies, little companies are affected by this. And it's the same thing with text messages.
Yep.
It's the same thing with Messenger on Facebook. I met a woman who Messenger popped up and told her some guy that she'd won a lottery, and she won $10 million. And so she clicked on it, and she was like, "Wow, I won $10 million. How did you find me?" Well, first of all, she's never played the lottery in her life, so how can you win a lottery that you didn't play?
Yeah.
But she sent $10,000 in cash through the mail.
Oh dear.
And so it was after a lecture that I had spoken with this group, and so I said, all right, well, let's go onto the FBI's website, ic3.gov, and report this. This is huge. This is a big financial loss.
Yeah.
So while we're going through their reporting mechanism, very easy, but pops up again. His name pops up again on her laptop. And he said, well, we got the 10,000. We need 5,000 more to pay for taxes. And
But if I won the money, why am I
Why am I
paying?
paying
Right.
all of this? Yeah,
If you win the
exactly.
lottery, Uncle Sam's
You win
going to
the
take
lottery.
your
They're gonna
taxes.
take
they're
it
gonna,
out
they're
right
gonna
off.
take it before you even
Exactly.
see the check.
Exactly. So it was just, they'll try anything, they'll do anything. And unfortunately with lottery scams, everybody gets a little excited. Oh, I won $1 million from Ireland.
Right.
Well, unless you're an Irish citizen, that's against the law. You can't win a foreign country's their lottery.
Yeah. Right.
Unless you played the lottery last night, okay, great. But so many people think, oh, I won 10 million.
No.
Did you really?
And then we've got passwords.
Passwords are a problem.
Yeah, because I mean, we all have 50 million different things we have to sign on in at work, at home, at school. We need passwords that are easy to recognize so that if we get logged out from something,
Sure.
so the whole, give me a strong password and put it in there. I mean, I'm never going to remember CRF $123
Sure.
I'm not going to remember that. The average 16-year-old isn't going to remember that. So we happen to fall into traps in terms of our passwords, and too many people will do something simple like their middle name or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or,
And then we're going to recycle it. So next month when they change it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then their middle name.
Yes.
That's what we all fall into that.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest so that people can have a password that they remember and that they can work with, but still have something secure enough
Sure.
that, nothing's going to provide 100% security.
But most secure.
Yeah.
So with passwords, I know no one likes to hear this, but you need to change them every 6 or 7 weeks. It's imperative.
Yep.
They cannot be any password cannot have information that I can find out about you online. Your middle name, your mother's name, your child's name, your favorite color, your dog, whatever. It has to be completely different.
Okay.
Black jacket, polka dots, something silly, or a lyric to a poem or your favorite song, and you can't recycle it. We all love to recycle the passwords.
Well, it's easy to remember.
It's easy, totally easy to remember. I think one thing to do is get a password keeper. Either
I have one of those.
yeah, so I have one on my phone, and the only password I need to remember is that 9-digit code to get in there. If you're going to do that, make sure that your phone has a password too, or you're using your thumb to get into your phone. I know that sometimes the younger generation tend to lose things, so if they lost their phone, make sure it has to have a password to get into that phone. I just use a password keeper. It's electronic. I did my due diligence and I looked into a couple different online companies. Anybody can do what they use, who they feel comfortable with. If you don't want to do that, just write it down and keep it in a book hidden away. It's just little things you can do, and you can't have the same password for everything. Because if there's a data breach, for example, the Equifax data breach that happened in 2017, if you haven't done it already, everyone should go and check if their information was breached. Mine was.
Oh, really?
Yes. You can go to Federal Trade Commission, ftc.gov/Equifax. You will have to give them the last 6 digits of your social security number.
But you're on a federal government?
Your federal government website. Do it at home with your own
Wi-Fi to work.
Not at Starbucks or something like that.
And you give them your last name, and they will tell you if your information was breached. As of a couple of weeks ago, they were offering $125 per person if your information was breached, or up to 10 years of free credit monitoring for all 3 of the credit bureaus.
Oh, wow.
So
It's better than the $125.
I agree.
yeah,
I
what's
can't
what's
imagine
$125 going to do?
either or. It's like, really, they should offer both. But anyway.
Yeah, but I think you should also mention that children are 52 times more likely to have their information breached and stolen. There was an article that I read with AARP that there was a daycare center in the Midwest somewhere a couple years ago that got breached, and little Susie, who was 3, they didn't realize that her social security number was stolen. Well, she went to go get her license at age 16, and they ran her social security number, and there were 6, 7 DUIs listed on that. Someone had stolen her information. So if you have children, make sure to check their credit once a year. You can do it. It's for free. It's free.
Yep.
Freeze the credit. If you're not need to open up a new line of credit, freeze it.
And you can do that for a child.
I was going to say, for my daughter or my son.
So it might be worth doing until they absolutely need to have it.
Do it for a child because their credit is pristine and perfect. No, they don't have lots of money, but a fraudster isn't looking all the time for money. They just want to be you in a different state.
Right.
They want to get a green card. They want to get a passport, a job.
Or health care.
Healthcare. So all of a sudden, little Susie, who was just born last night, is leaving the hospital tomorrow, and you don't realize someone's already stolen her social security number. So it's very easy for a parent to check. A few more hoops because you actually have to prove your mom and dad, but it's really not that difficult to do. And I even asked my brother, I'm like, hey, have you checked, I have 2 nieces, have you checked their information? He said, yep, we're all set. I said, great.
Okay.
Now, we've got, and we just have to speed it up a little bit.
Sorry.
No, trust me,
This is all very important information.
Yes, and I'm usually the one who's being told to be quiet. But I want to make sure we get all of this in.
Sure.
Antivirus software, secure websites, emails. I can tell you from my perspective, because I'm very politically active, my email will be with the political party, and then all of a sudden I'm getting emails from candidates that aren't even local. People shouldn't be afraid to hit that unsubscribe button and go all the ways down where it can say unsubscribe.
No,
Is that?
I wouldn't hit unsubscribe.
You wouldn't hit unsubscribe?
If it's if you know 100% if it's from a reputable business, if it really is the candidate, fine. But if it's something that you've sort of never heard about, a lot of times if you hit unsubscribe, you're just telling them that it's a real person. Let's just keep sending them spam.
And it
Block
gives
it.
them more access.
Yes.
So.
I just block it.
Okay.
Just
And
block
trash
it
the email,
and trash the
put
email.
it into like a
You-
junk folder.
Yeah,
Or
you can actually call the candidate directly, whoever is running their candidacy, and say, look, somehow I'm on your list, please take me off.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the robocalls. Everybody loves to answer the phone. They're making money just by you answering.
Seriously?
So
Interesting.
what happens is, even if you answer and then hang up, you're telling the fraudster from wherever part of the world he or she is calling from, that it's a live person. So they're going to say, great, she answered, and sell your phone number to somebody else.
Okay.
So don't answer. Don't hit unsubscribe. Just put it in your spam.
Excellent to know, because I'll admit, what I'll do is I'll sometimes answer it and then keep them busy for a few minutes, because my whole theory is if I'm keeping them busy for a few minutes, they have less opportunity to come after you.
So I meet lots of people, and I think it's fun to scam the scammer, if you have a real person, that is. I don't suggest doing that.
Okay.
So if they're calling you, and you get a real person, if they're calling you on your landline, they can do a reverse search and find out where you live. Now, they may not be located anywhere around here, but they have friends, and they have friends in different networks. If you irritate someone, they may call someone and say, let's go show up at her house. And now you're meeting the police department in an afternoon because they're showing up at your door because there's a scammer at your door. I don't think you should egg them on. Everybody loves to egg them on, blow whistles, do all kinds of kooky things. I met a woman who thought it would be funny, and she egged him on for an hour. And he realized it, and he was so furious that he called her every hour for 4 days straight.
Oh, wow.
So by the end of the weekend, she was so freaked out that she had to change her phone number.
Okay.
She
And
called
there's
the
a
police
cost
department.
associated
Yep,
with
she
doing
called the
that.
police department. They showed up. It was just not pleasant. She was so freaked out. I'm like, don't do that.
That's really good information to know, because I think we've all been in that boat where we
I-
have
yeah.
egged them on. So
Yeah, just hang up.
Or my
So-
daughter recently had a problem with something like that on her cell phone.
Sure.
And we actually did call the police department, and an officer came to the house and, looked at the phone, and there was nothing, but the phone was a working phone number. So he called back from his secure phone that the police department
Sure.
gave him and said, hi, this is Officer so-and-so from the North Andover Police Department. We need to speak to you. Please call us at. Now, I have a feeling that since we never heard back from the officer, that we need to file a complaint that the person probably did not call.
Right.
But hopefully got concerned enough that they wouldn't call anybody back in North Andover.
Absolutely. Utilize your police departments wherever you live. Just don't call the 911 number if you need to
Correct.
contact
Right,
them.
of course,
But
because
that's
it's-
why they're there. I mean, if you get that call, there's a lot of people get calls. It's your son who's lying on the side of a road, or the grandparent scam.
Right.
Simply call your local police department and help. They're there to help you. That's what their
Makes
job
complete
is.
sense.
Yeah.
And then we've got antivirus software. Does that really protect us?
If you use it and update your phone, I'm not a techie person.
Okay.
I'm not. But I have someone in my life who is techie. It's called the Apple Store. And when
Same here.
I'm not, saying everybody needs to have Apple products, but I'm just saying when if I've screwed up my laptop and I'm not sure what I've done, I would simply go to the store and ask the professional and say, it's not working correctly. I'm a little concerned about this. Can you help me? And inevitably, it's a 16-year-old kid, which makes me feel really silly. And in 3 keystrokes, he's
Has
fixed it,
taken care of it.
and it's fine.
Right.
And I feel really foolish, and I go home going, oh my God.
But that's what they
you know
get
it's
paid for.
fixed.
That's what you pay for.
Right.
I know that the Best Buy has the Geek Squad.
Yep.
I'm sure North Andover has a reputable company that will come to your house and they'll fix your smartphone, your laptop,
Exactly.
help you understand when your computer says it's time to do the update.
Do the
Do
update.
it. Don't
If you're a
ignore
little
it.
unsure, go ask somebody. I have 2 nieces, they always fix everything. They're under the age of 20 and they fix it all.
Now, secure websites, I assume that's the difference between when you see HTTP and HTTPS. Is that the difference between a secure website and an unsecured website?
Yes.
Okay.
So you should, you should also make sure when you're going on to, I'm going to use Amazon as a specific example.
Yes.
Make sure it says it's spelled correctly, Amazon.com.
Right.
Because a fraudster, if you're going to do a Google search, a fraudster can pay big bucks and have an advertisement for Amazon. And I'm not knocking Amazon. I'm
No,
just
it's
As
just
an example.
Yeah,
as
a
an
well-known example.
They can pay to have their ad right at the very top. So when you can't remember LL Bean or Amazon or Sears, if you start typing that in, their ad's going to pop up.
Right.
So look at what it says.
Right.
I know that I was also told that if you use the Amazon app, it is definitely it is secure.
Okay.
It's encrypted,
which is what
so-
I tend to do.
Exactly.
Yep. So,
And social networking.
yeah, I think that's a big one.
Sure. So the social networking, whatever you're going to post, make darn sure you want the entire planet to see that. If you don't want the entire planet to see that, don't post it. Everybody overposts where they're going, what they're doing, what they're eating, what their
Right.
dog's name is.
Well, check-ins.
Yeah.
Like check-ins. I mean, we
Exactly.
stopped doing that because it's like, so are we inviting somebody to come rob us? You
Well,
know, by doing that. So,
I'm in Israel right now, and
yeah,
there's,
my
you know,
house is totally open.
Yeah,
Please come rob me.
exactly.
I literally just read an article about this dad overposted. He was so excited because his daughter was getting married, very wealthy man in Los Angeles area, and posted the heck out of the wedding and the pictures. Well, guess what? All the wedding gifts were located at his home, and he got robbed. So post the pictures. Post your fabulous vacation afterwards. Or if you have a house sitter, fine. Or if you live in a secure building, fine. But you just have to be very careful what you're posting. Make sure your security controls are strong. Who can see your information?
Yes.
Change your passwords. If you get that thing on Messenger from one of your friends, oh, I saw this great video of you. Click here. Let's talk about it. Don't.
Yeah.
It's
not them.
It's not them. It's my guess is they probably got hacked, and
Yeah.
because they don't have a strong password.
And smartphones. Do you want to ask about smartphones, Stacy?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm sure that there are similar issues about that.
The smartphones they're just mini computers.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I would just say it's a good thing. It's
Yeah.
if you're getting lost, fine. It's hard to find somewhere, but I think if you're going to do online banking, if you're going to go shopping online, make sure you're using secure websites. Make sure if you're going to check your social security number and do a credit check, that you're at home using your own Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Don't be at a coffee shop. And a lot of people say, oh, I got the password though. Everybody has the same password to use that.
Right.
So, and I'm not
Which
knocking-
means somebody's sitting in the corner.
someone sitting in that corner
Scanning for
waiting
all of
for you
that.
to go online going, oh,
Yeah.
there she goes.
Yep.
And they're sitting there waiting for you to type in your credit card information.
It's even the same, because I've seen this with gas stations. Like, I think, that's a concern, the skimmers, but also somebody kind of waiting on the side in their car with their computer for somebody to go use their card. It's pretty much everywhere. Like, I actually try to use cash when I can when I go to the gas station, because you just don't know.
So some of the newer, our gas stations have until 2020 to upgrade to the new technology.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
If you have near field technology on your card, use that. It's the tap mechanism.
Which doesn't always work, and it gets very frustrating.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Or use the chip. The newer stations, if you look at the gas pump, I went to a lecture on gas pumps. It's very exciting.
Did you get the good at gas prices toil you were at?
I don't know about the gas prices, the prices, but the newer pumps have more cybersecurity. They're roughly
Good,
$10,000 or more per gas station pump. They're very expensive. Use the gas station. So if you look at the gas pump, you will see if it's been upgraded. There's usually a little box for the near field technology. The near field, the symbol looks like a Wi-Fi symbol on its side. 3 little half-open circles. That's kind of the tell-all. We have new technology for this pump. I know that a lot of gas stations are using tamper-evident security tape. If it looks like it's been tampered with, if it's been sliced open, don't use that, or use cash. I travel so much in Massachusetts that I see all kinds of gas stations, and if it makes me nervous, I always have $20 or $30 in cash.
And then get a receipt.
use that
And
get a
then
receipt.
be done with it.
Yep.
If it makes you nervous, don't use it. It's important to know that the Division of standards, which is under our office, they do go out and inspect these pumps. So if something looks very fishy, either talk to the manager, or if it's after hours, you can call our office and we can send somebody out to go and inspect those pumps. They find skimming devices, so the police departments find them as well, but we're happy to go and check those. If it looks a little fishy, don't use it.
I mean, that's also the concern even for ATMs,
Yes.
which honestly, I don't even know if this is the right thing to do, but when I'm at the supermarket, I'll get cash back because I always pay with my debit with the chip.
Sure.
So it's like, well, I'll just get cash back while I'm here instead of going, unless I know I'm at my bank.
Sure.
There's always that concern as well. It's the same idea, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I tend not to use ATMs that are stuck on the side of a building.
Yeah.
Just, who knows? I mean, they might have great cybersecurity and lots of cameras, but it's sitting there. It makes me nervous. I try not to use those. Skimming devices have been found everywhere. Inside of banks, at restaurants, at hotels, everywhere you can possibly imagine. Your best bet is simply monitor your accounts. That's the one thing everybody should do. When your bank statement comes in, when your credit card statement comes in, look line by line. If someone's picked up your information, you'll see it. You'll see that little red flag. Oh, what's that $2 charge in Texas? Ooh, that's not me.
Yeah.
That $2 or that $2 charge.
I've never been to Texas.
Yes.
Or the $2 charge at CVS or Brooks Pharmacy. Not knocking the company, someone's picked up your information.
Right.
It happens. We all have smartphones, and those smartphones have cameras. So if you're not paying attention, what happens if someone takes a quick picture of the back and front of your card?
Right.
Yep.
Boom.
Right.
And now
Yeah,
they're,
they've got
then
you.
they're
Now they
online
have the
shopping
power. Yep.
for
They
you.
have the power.
And just to wrap us up,
Sure.
Reacting to identity theft, first off, the government is never going to call us and say there's a subpoena for your arrest,
No.
that you owe back taxes, that, the government will never call you and say that there are issues. They will
Right.
write you, or
You'll
they'll
get
show
something
up.
yes.
They'll show up at your door, and 9 times out of 10, if they're going to write you, they're going to send something like that via certified mail anyway, because they want a record of it.
Exactly.
Other than that, what are the best ways for us to contact you to report identity theft?
So if you're going to report identity theft, call all 3 of the credit bureaus and let them know what's going on. Talk to your local police department. A lot of times they can't do a lot, but get it in writing from them and get a copy of it. You're creating a paper trail that makes your case stronger, so that when you do contact the 3 credit bureaus and say, this has happened, and I've already spoken to my local police department, and here's a written affidavit from them, then they can do a credit check and make sure that nothing's happened to you. They can freeze your accounts if you haven't done so already. Call all of your financial institutions, whether it's your banks or your credit cards, and let them know so that they can put you on high alert. They might even just give you a brand new credit card, altogether completely different 16-digit codes. I do that actually every year. In January, I just get a new credit card number.
Wow.
That way, if my information's been picked up, my information was picked up through the Equifax data breach. So I'm a little more on heightened security for myself.
Right.
So
makes sense.
if you notify all of these companies, they can be helpful, and it'll keep you a little bit safer.
Well, Robin, I'd like to thank you for agreeing to join us today.
My pleasure. Thank you
so much.
Especially where
Absolutely.
we've got, unfortunately, people who are at risk, for all of this type of identity theft. I'll just put it all under one
Some
one
compromised
umbrella.
populations. Yep.
And I really do think that people will be, useful in acknowledging this. We're going to be putting all of your information
great.
also on our Facebook page. It'll be at the tail end of today's episode when they do all their closing graphics and
Sure.
and my teleprompter is at a slow pace right now. All of this information is extremely important.
Yep.
Like I said, on our Facebook page. And you can actually find us on Facebook at Commission on Disability Issues, NAND. I remembered that.
That's impressive.
I am impressed.
You can also contact us by contacting Town Hall. And our guest next month will be a member of our North Andover Senior Center. We'd like to thank again our crew, Carly Jones, Joshua Robles, James Hill, and Susan Martin. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube. Again, you can find us on Facebook at Commission on Disability Issues, NAND. And you can also listen to this episode in podcasts, and we'll also be releasing your episode in podcast form on Podbean, and it's NA Ability Assistance.
Wonderful.
And again, we will have all that information posted online.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for having me. I appreciate it.
Look forward to talking to you maybe again soon.
Absolutely.